This is my second rotation in Alaska in late January, early February of 2021. Mount McKinley. This is in Nome. Had some very beautiful sunrise sunsets there. The snow plow. This is actually the ocean. It's frozen over. You can actually drive on it. My kids sent me a care package for Christmas. I didn't get it till late January. Started bundling up a little better by that trip. So around this time of year, you're going to get about 4 or so hours of daylight per day. This is one of my favorite restaurants. Anytime I was in Nome, I would go and get a hamburger or something, because when I was in the villages, I would be living off tuna sandwiches and ramen noodles. I got to-go food, and my sweet tea actually froze walking a mile back to my apartment I was in. So here I flew from Nome to Stebbins. That was one of the villages that I worked in. Not a great picture, but I got to see the Aurora Borealis there. Back in Nome for the night, obviously. And this here's in Nome. That's when I got to Wales, and I rode the sled behind the four-wheeler from the airport to the clinic. Sun peeking over the mountain there. That's the ocean frozen little island out there. The steam frozen on the clinic. That's the ocean again. Just see little waves frozen there. Me walking out on it. That's an old church that's no longer used. Frozen waves. I would go hike out on the ocean. There's me pretty far out in the ocean looking back at the village. This is actually an art piece. It's supposed to look like a hand releasing a dove, and apparently in Russia somewhere there's a hand, dove's landing in it, and some kind of peace symbolism. I'm flying back to Nome to head back to Stebbins, actually. Stopped in Nome to get some pizza at Milano's. My goggles finally came in. Prior to that, though, a little frostbite that lasted about 3 or 4 days, and it was numb for a long time. So I went back to Nome for the night right before I was leaving. Stayed in the Nome Nugget. Some really neat antiques and stuff inside there for decoration. That coat's made out of walrus intestines. Some tools. Spotted sealskin. Pause this and read that. It's pretty funny. Then there I go to Golovin just for one night. That's right outside the clinic there in Golovin. There's the clinic. Each clinic had a four-wheeler and a snow machine. Up on the mountain above Golovin, taking a picture. One of the ladies that worked there brought me some native foods to try. That's some dried smoked fish. And then there's some, what she called eskimosalad. And there's some seaweed, herring eggs, dried fish, and then whale skin with the blubber on it. It's a crab trap. Had to go do a home COVID test, geared all up to do that. That's an ulu. It's a kitchen knife. There's a little fox there at the airport when we were leaving. Trees. There's not a lot of trees in that area. And we're flying back to Kentucky.